Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I'm your host, Marissa, and well, it's just me tonight. I hope everybody has enjoyed the weekend. We had a pretty decent weekend here, even though the rest of the summer has been pretty wet. We've had a lot of rain. But for those of you who are getting impacted by that hurricane that is, I believe, hitting the coast of California, the southern coast, please stay safe. We'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers on the show. So, thank you guys for joining, and I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode. So, of course, this is Music Madness with yours truly, episode 3. If you've missed out on the other 2 episodes of this series, please feel free to go check them out before checking out this one. So, as I mentioned, I believe in the last episode, I think the last time I did an episode of this, we were just wrapping up the Foo Fighters stuff. It's either that or we were already done the Foo Fighters stuff. We started that way back at the beginning of June, and I believe we ended right in the middle of July, actually about a month ago to this date, August 20th. So that was very interesting, but now we've changed gears. As of August 9th, we had just started our Van Halen journey. Unfortunately, it didn't really start off on a high note. As you guys know already, what we usually do with every album pilgrimage that we do is we do it randomly. We let a wheel decide our fate, and we let the wheel decide what albums we listen to in what order. Unfortunately, our very first album was 1995 album Balance. Now, this album was not good. Even though for some reason some people like this album, I personally did not, and it actually put me and my podcast partner to sleep practically. It was about a 50-minute album, I believe. I think, off the top of my head. We did this right during the middle of Fair Week, so that was probably another bad idea. I probably should have waited till post-Fair Week to do this. Excuse me. But this album was pretty bad. There were only about 2 or 3 songs that I really liked. 2 of them I knew beforehand, and the other one is the closing track. If that tells you how bad this album was. I really wish we could have started with something else, but hey, sometimes you're better off to get the bad ones out of the way first so you can enjoy the rest. So a little bit of context of this album. This was the final album Van Halen had recorded while Sammy Hagar was their frontman. Shortly after this actually, him and I believe Michael Anthony too, the bass player, they both left. They both left Van Halen, once again leaving Van Halen without a frontman. And for the next album, Van Halen 3, which came out, I think it was like 98, 99, they had Gary Sharon come in from Extreme, and that album was trash. Even though I haven't listened to it yet, so I probably shouldn't say anything, but I have read reviews, and it's not looking too well. So let's just say I'm not looking forward to that album whatsoever. But I am glad that we got that album out of the way. Now, just a few nights ago on Thursday, this week, we did 1984, which obviously came out in 1984. This was the last album they did with David Lee Roth before David Lee Roth got kicked out. David Lee Roth has been with the band since the very beginning, back in the late 70s. However, he got kicked out right after 1984, hence why Sammy Hagar jumped in and filled in right after that. Which, I'll get to those albums, I'll probably get to the rest of the albums after I do them. So, the next episode of this will probably be next month. And by the time next month rolls around, I'll probably be more like halfway through the pilgrimage, if not almost done. So I will have more to talk about when it comes to Van Halen. I can say this though, 1984 was outstanding. It definitely was way better than the opening album. A lot of good hits, and this was the first album where Eddie Van Halen was playing keyboard, which kind of shocked a lot of Van Halen fans back in the day. A lot of people were like, oh, this isn't Van Halen. Van Halen's not keyboards. It's like, guys, you gotta learn to adapt. And Jump is the #1 single for Van Halen of all time. So, you either learn to adapt and suck it up, or you can go ahead and just continue to be a crybaby. But, yeah, there's nothing bad to say about 1984, to be honest. This is easily a top 5 album thus far for me, even though we're only 2 albums in. But this week coming up on Thursday, after we record the next episode for you guys, me and my partner are going to be listening to Diver Down, which is the album that really sparks my interest. Now, when it comes to pilgrimages, I always have 1 or 2 albums that spark my interest before we even listen to them, that really get me curious. And this is the one for Van Halen. It actually has one of my favorite songs of all time on it, Where Have All the Good Times Gone? And not to mention the album cover is like the signature colors for Eddie Van Halen's guitar, red and white, and his guitar also has black on it. But you get what I mean. So that'll be this week on Thursday. So, like I said, by the time next month rolls around, because I try to do one of these episodes a month with you guys, by the time next month rolls around, I'll have plenty more to share with you guys about my experience with the Van Halen pilgrimage. And I'm pretty sure Deisher will too, when we get around to talking about it more after we finish. Because, we usually do the albums, and we break them down, we do the album rankings and song rankings and all that crap. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's switch gears to a couple other things. So, there is some new music out. And there's actually some more coming out, I should say. Speaking of Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang Van Halen, just released Mammoth 2 back in August. Like, early August, I should say. We're still in August. August 4th, this album came out. I have not listened to it yet. But I did hear one song on Shome when he released it as a single. What the hell is it called? Something about, like, celebration at the end of the world. I think that's the title of it. I'm not 100% sure. But it's really good. It's like the typical Wolfgang Van Halen sound. I have been following Wolfgang Van Halen's musical journey since the pandemic, since 2020, because that's when I heard Distance come out. Because, Eddie Van Halen had passed away in October of 2020. He had released Distance, and then he released his first album, his debut album, Mammoth, which did awesome, by the way. And now he's got a second album that just came out. I kind of want to listen to it, to be honest. Like, I liked the first album, to be honest. I really did. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I'm really curious to see where he goes from here. I know that he did some shows opening up for Metallica over the summer. I don't know if he's still doing that, but that is huge. Like, to be able to open for one of the biggest metal bands in the world, Metallica, for that matter, that is insane. But yeah, I really would love to listen to that album. So Deisher, if you're listening, we need to pick a night and listen to that. Speaking of new albums as well, Billy Talent just released a new live album from one of the shows they did over in Germany. I believe the place is called Frankfurt. Don't come at me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm not German. So I was supposed to listen to that with Deisher during Fair Week, but we never got around to it because we were so tired from Fair. Every day I was coming home so exhausted, and I was just ready for bed every time I got home. But I am kind of back on my old sleep schedule now, so I'm more than ready to listen to it. So again, Deisher, if you're listening to this, we need to check that album out before I do another Music Madness episode. I think it's pretty long though. It's like it's way over an hour. I know that, but most live albums are long. It's pretty much like a concert right from your room, and that's what I really dig about live albums. I've heard a lot of live albums in my life. I've heard one from, I think, Jane's Addiction. I own one by AC/DC, and I've also heard one by, I think, Alice in Chains. So I've heard quite a few, and I think the Billy Talent one's going to be fun, because, I mean, come on, I love Billy Talent. I have been a Billy Talent fan for the longest time, so I'm ready to listen to that. And this other group that I've kind of been keeping an eye on, titled The Struts. Now, I've listened to some of their stuff back in 2020, once again during the pandemic. I had a lot more time on my hands. They are releasing a new album called Pretty Vicious on November 3rd, and they had just recently released a new single. Now, let me see. It's called Too Good at Raising Hell, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really good. It is really, really good. They kind of remind me of, okay, so you older people may know this, well, even some younger people may know this too. If you guys have heard of the J. Giles Band, they sing Centerfold, Freeze Frame, Love Stinks. This is what that band kind of reminds me of. They give me kind of like a hint of a modern day J. Giles Band, which I really like. I love J. Giles Band. So like kind of hearing the Struts really reminds me of them. I don't know if anyone else agrees who's listened to the Struts, but they really do remind me of J. Giles Band, which honestly, I don't mind. I like when modern day bands resemble past bands. Like, I know there's a band out there that kind of resembles Led Zeppelin a little bit. Okay, is it Greta Van Fleet? Is that the name of it? I think that's who it is. I'm not crazy for their newest album that just came out, but I do like their older stuff. There's a song on Forza 4, I believe, that's by Greta Van Fleet. That's how I came across them, actually. And then I heard them on Shome. I don't really like the new album, but I do like their older stuff, and their older stuff reminds me of Led Zeppelin quite a bit. So, anyways, back to the Struts. Keep an eye out for the new album on November 3rd. I might have to check it out because I am still a moderately new Struts fan. And as you guys know on this channel, we like to promote new music and up and coming groups, so go check them out. Speaking of Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant celebrates his 75th birthday today, so happy birthday to him. I actually just heard a lot of Led Zeppelin earlier today. I think I've heard Misty Mountain Hop, I've heard Dire Maker today. I heard Whole Lot of Love, I think, just before I came upstairs. So I've heard quite a bit of Led Zeppelin today, and honestly, I don't mind. I am a pretty down low Led Zeppelin fan. I do have a Led Zeppelin shirt, which I'm going to talk about my shirts later on this episode because I have a crap ton as of this year. Oh man. So today is actually National Radio Day, and that is quite fitting because I'm sitting here in my bedroom at like 9:45 at night Eastern time recording for you guys, and like I've always considered this like training for radio broadcasting, because that's where I want to be. That is the goal. I want to be a radio broadcaster. I want to run my own radio show on FM radio and take requests, play songs that people want to hear, spread the news about upcoming bands like I just said about the Struts and Wolfgang Van Halen. Basically just do what a typical radio broadcaster would do, just with a little bit of my touch. Like, I have a lot of musical knowledge, and I feel like I could, like, spread that to a lot of people. And there's just a thing about music where, like, music's done a lot for me, and I want to give back, you know? Like, I want other people to feel the way I feel about music, so that's kind of the goal here. So happy National Radio Day. If it wasn't for FM radio, there are a lot of bands that I would have never come across, like Billy Talent, for example. If it wasn't for Show 97.7 over in Montreal, I would never found Billy Talent. Same thing goes for Foo Fighters and Blink-182. I found them all from the same station. There's probably more groups, like I just mentioned, the Struts and Wolfgang Van Halen. All of those groups. Like, there's probably more that I just cannot think of right now, but those are a good solid 5 examples for you guys. If it wasn't for FM radio, a lot of these bands would go unrecognized and unnoticed, and they probably wouldn't sell as many records as they do. So again, if you know a radio broadcaster out there that does FM radio broadcasting as a profession, go out there and say thank you. Thank them for all that they do, because their job is not easy. They have to take requests. They have to know what they're talking about on the radio. They have to try not to swear, because I know a lot of stations, they don't let you cuss or use profanity for that matter, if we're talking professional terms. So go out there and please say thank you to all the FM radio hosts. And Dice Shore, even though he's not here, we say thank you from Reckless Paradise Podcast for all that you guys do over FM radio. It is definitely not a walk in the park, especially when you lose power and your signal goes brant. But I'm sure they've got generators. So another big thing today, about 11 years ago actually to this day, I went and saw my first ever Def Leppard concert down in Saratoga Springs at the SPAC, the Saratoga Performing Arts Center, back in 2012. I had mentioned this, I believe, in the first episode I did of this series. I had went on a whole freaking spree talking about Def Leppard and a whole bunch of the other bands I've grown to love over the years. And today marks the 11th anniversary of the concert I went to. And I'm not going to go on a whole spiel, because you guys should go check it out on the first episode. But I'm just going to say this. Best concert of my life. I really would like to go again. They just came to Syracuse on the 5th of August, and one of my best friends went. And I'm so jealous of her, because I haven't seen them since I was 10 years old, and I'm 21 now. So I'm a little overdue to go see them. But there's always hope. There's always hope that they'll come back next year. I'm very surprised they did not go to the SPAC this year in Saratoga. I am very, very surprised. That's like usually a hot spot for concerts. Like, everybody goes there. But hey, they came to Syracuse. That's just as good. But yeah, happy 11th anniversary to that milestone. So now for my t-shirt collection that I have been pretty much collecting since the pandemic. Now, I think it all started with a Def Leppard shirt when I was little. I know that. That is gone. I don't know what happened to that. uh, it was from like the 07, 08 tour though. My parents got it online, I believe, like a year before the concert. I got it for Christmas one year. I also had a Poison shirt from that concert, which no longer fits me. I still have it. It no longer fits me. But now I have another Poison shirt that I ended up buying, I think, last year at a store, like about an hour away from me. I ended up buying that. I bought another Def Leppard shirt. I now have 3 Def Leppard shirts. I had one made at the fair for me 2 years ago. I just bought one at Walmart in July for like $8. And then I bought one last year at a store an hour away from me. Same place I got the other Poison shirt. This year, I had just gotten a Pink Floyd shirt made for me with The Wall on it. From the Wall album. By the way, really good album. Even better movie. So I had that made for me at the fair this year. At the fair in the past, I've had Led Zeppelin shirts made for me. I've had The Who. Like I said, Def Leppard. This year, The Who. Or not this year. The other year with The Who. I already said The Who. This year, Pink Floyd. And I think my friend got, Daisho, he got a Red Hot Chili Peppers one this year as well. Why don't I remember the other one? He got 2 shirts made. I know one was Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I kind of regret not getting that one. But it's always next year. I don't remember the other one he got though. Maybe it'll come back to me later. I don't know. I also have another Pink Floyd shirt. It's Dark Side of the Moon World Tour from like, I think 74, 75. I got it in Cornwall a couple years ago. I also have a matching sweatsuit, and it says "Wish You Were Here" on it. I got it at Walmart over the winter, and let me tell you, it's so comfy. It's so soft, so comfy. Paid $40 for it, but it was worth it. I don't know if you could tell, but I love Pink Floyd. I really, really do. What else do I have? There's a lot that I have. Like, half of them I don't wear as much. I got a lot of AC/DC ones. I know I have like 3 of those. One of them, actually most of them, I think I got at Walmart because they're cheaper, way cheaper. I've had some made at the fair before in the past though, but not for me, for my dad. What else do I have? Why am I drawing a blank on the show? Am I tired? It's been a long weekend, and surprisingly, my voice is still not healed from Fair Week. It's still not healed. And it's been a whole week since the fair got done. So, bear with me. I had Beatles shirts. I had 2 Beatles shirts. I'm not really a big fan of the Beatles anymore. I don't listen to them really. So I kind of put those away. I packed them away because I don't wear them anymore. I'd like to preserve them, I guess you could say. I do have 3 Billy Talent shirts. I've got the Crisis of Faith shirt. My first Billy Talent shirt was the 06 photo shoot for Billy Talent 2. I have that one that I got in Cornwall. And then I have the actual Billy Talent 2 shirt with the maple leaf and the Billy Talent 2 inside cover artwork. That's on the front of the shirt. And then on the back of that shirt, it says Billy Talent 2, like a sports shirt. So it's pretty cool. I got that last year in Cornwall. And then my other Billy Talent shirt, I ordered online last year. The Crisis of Faith shirt for the new album that came out last year. That was my first ever time, I think, ordering a band shirt online, which is crazy to say. Now, when it comes to shirts I want, I definitely need to add a Blink-182 one to my collection. I gotta add a Foo Fighters one to the collection as well. I've also had this Def Leppard shirt in sight, and it's one for the Adrenalize album cover. It's on Amazon last time I checked, which was a couple months ago. That one's been in my sights for a while. And then I also need to get a Van Halen one because, I mean, why not? Oh, this also just reminds me, I also have a Fall Out Boy shirt, and it's from the Mania album from 2018. That one's actually starting to wear, though. The artwork on the shirt, it's starting to peel from the wear and tear from the dryer and stuff. That might have been my first shirt I've ever ordered online, now that I think about it. Fall Out Boy was the first one, because I got that in 2020. I'm surprised I still have it. I'm going to have to get another Fall Out Boy shirt now, too. Maybe for the new album. Maybe for So Much for Stardust. But I think that's all of them that I can think of. I'm probably missing some. I have so many just laying around. Oh, I have Slipknot. I got that one made at the fair for me last year, and that one too is starting to wear already. Like, some of the logo's starting to peel off, which is pretty shitty, but I mean, what can you do? Shit happens. Okay, so now I think that's pretty much all of them. I'm probably, like I said, I'm probably forgetting some. I'm probably gonna look in my drawer tomorrow and be like, oh crap, I forgot to mention this one. But it's alright. It's an ongoing collection it's an ongoing thing that I've been trying to collect. And like I said, there's still shirts I want to add to my collection, and I won't stop till I get them. But I think that is going to cut this episode. This episode's a little bit short, and I do apologize, but like I said before on other episodes, it's not a bad thing to have a short one once in a while. So I hope you guys enjoyed Music Madness with yours truly, episode 3. So our next episode, this Thursday, we are breaking down the first half of Blink-182's 2016 album, California. Now, you may be thinking, why only the first half? Well, this album is actually the longer album that we've done for the Breakdown series. This is actually the longest one we've done yet. This album has 16 tracks, and that's only for the original. We're not going to do the deluxe edition, as number one, we've never listened to the deluxe edition, and number two, it's twice as long. That should have just been a whole different album. But if we're just going to do the original has 16 tracks. We're not going to be able to do all 16 tracks in one episode because it would take way too long. So I think what we're going to do is, to make it a lot easier on us and on you guys too, I think, we're going to do it in half. We're going to do the first 8 tracks on Thursday night. And then I've got the second half of the album, the last 8 tracks, we will be doing on September 7th episode, which is Thursday, the first Thursday of the month. So it won't be too far off, timing-wise. I think you guys will still be okay. We're still going to rank the songs, song by song. We're still going to break it down like we usually do. We're going to rank the first 8 songs together. Like, you know how we usually do an overall album ranking at the end? We're still going to do that. We're going to do it with each half. So, like, once we finish all 8, we're going to rank all 8 of those songs together as a whole, as if it was an album. We're going to do the same thing with part 2. And then after that, we're going to put them together, the totals, and that's going to be our average for the whole album. That's going to be our entire album ranking. So, I think it's going to be a very interesting way to do this. This is our first time trying this out, and if this works out perfectly, that means we'll be able to do other longer albums, like The Wall, for example. That one's gonna be like a freaking 3-parter because there's like 23 tracks, and some of them are like a minute long. Like, some of them are like really short, but hey, it's just something. That and Black Ice. Black Ice is 16 tracks, so I think it's 16, 15 or 16. Either way, we'll be able to do that too if that works out, because that's another longer album. So this is just a little trial thing that we're gonna do. We hope you join us for California. Really, really good album. I'm excited to share it with you guys. So, I better talk about my song of the night before I let it slip. So, lately on show, I've been hearing a lot of Linkin Park. And I've had a lot of people tell me I need to check out Linkin Park and do an album pilgrimage in the future, which I am going to do. I would love to do a Linkin Park run. I don't think it would take too long. But, I think tonight's song of the night for Linkin Park, I think we're gonna do What I've Done. I think that's the one we're gonna do tonight, because I've heard that one a lot this week, and it's just been sticking out the whole week in my head. So that's tonight's song of the night, Linkin Park, What I've Done. So if you guys want to check it out, at the top right hand corner of this episode, towards the end, there will be a link that's going to pop up. There is a music video, so I will just put the music for you guys. Go ahead and watch it. God bless Chester Bennington, by the way. I still can't believe he's gone. But yeah, go check that song out. It's a banger. It's a classic. Like, if you are a Linkin Park fan, you have to know this song. So, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to go ahead and follow us on social media by clicking on our link in the description below, which should take you to our Linktree website. We have everything there for you guys. We have Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, and X or Twitter or whatever you guys want to call that stupid app. Um, we will try to keep you updated on those social media pages in case something goes wrong and we have to postpone or something. Because I've had a lot of issues up here this summer, but this month's been okay. This month has been okay so far, connection wise. So let's keep the train rolling. We will also keep you updated on the YouTube community page on our channel. So that's also another good way to keep up to date with us in case, again, something goes wrong. So once again, so follow us on social media. Keep up to date with our YouTube community page as well. Be sure to go ahead and subscribe to our good friend Dystro's YouTube channel. We miss you. This episode was lost without you. I believe, oh god, I think he was at like 840 or something like that for subscribers last time I checked. I don't remember off the top of my head. We're trying to get into 900 by the end of the summer, which for me that would be like end of September, so we still have a whole month to go. We're doing pretty well, so let's get him up to 900 before the end of the summer. Go share his stuff around. He uploads weekly gaming content. Sometimes I'm in there too because we do play video games about 4 or 5 days a week outside of the podcast, so go check him out. Go give him some love. Once again, take a listen to tonight's Song of the Night by Linkin Park titled What I've Done. And that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and me and Daisha will be back here on Thursday. Peace.